Hey, and in this video, we're going to talk about the pros and cons of the incentive trust. I'm Paul Rabelais. I'm an estate planning attorney. I help our clients get and keep their legal affairs in order. This is part 6 of an 8-part series on how to leave it to the kids. Part 6 is all about the incentive trust. You know, you might say, what is an incentive trust? Well, it's when someone, either through their last will and testament or through their revocable living trust, they set things up so that when they die or when they and their spouse pass away, assets are left to a trust. Let's say it's for your child. It could be for your grandchild. It could be for your niece or nephew. It could be for anyone you want it to be. But in this circumstance, let's talk about it being for your child. You set things up so that when you pass away or when you and your spouse pass away, things go in a trust for your child, and the payout to or for the child is tied to some specific goal that you create. Some of these common incentives that I've seen over the years in incentive trusts are, they got to graduate from college, or they've got to maintain a certain grade point average, or they've got to be drug tested and be drug free before they can get any kind of payment, or they have to have no criminal conduct over the years for them to get any distributions from this trust, or they have to show either W-2 or self-employment income for the trust to give them payments to match that income that they're making on their own. So for some obvious reasons, you could probably understand why people create incentive trusts. They want to reward the right kind of behavior, and I get that. And on the one hand, you want to give positive encouragement for the right kind of behavior, but on the other hand, you may wind up providing some type of coercive pressure when you do stipulate hard and fast rules that could render things getting contentious and triggering unintended results. So let me give you a couple examples. One is one I've never seen before, and I'm going to talk about kind of what a parent does while a parent is alive, and then we'll follow it up with leaving it through the estate. So I just think of the parent or grandparent who says let's say they have a 16-year-old grandson, and the grandson is a C student. So the grandparent approaches the grandson one day and says, "I'll tell you what, for every A you get this semester, I'm going to give you $100. So the C student grandson, he starts to plot. And lo and behold, at the end of the semester, he has 4 A's. So he gets $400. However, he got those A's the wrong way. He cheated. He lied. He got other people to do his schoolwork for him. But he wound up with the A's and he got the $400. Didn't get the A's the way that Grandpa intended him to get the A's, but he got the A's. Versus perhaps another situation where grandson is given the same incentive. Hey, grandson, make A's and I'll give you $100 per A. Grandson works his butt off, studies. He started out as a C student, but through his own hard work and his merit, he winds up with 4 B's. He gets no money, but he did, perform the kind of behavior that the grandfather was looking for. And, he did it because he wanted to be successful. So, you start to see some of the problems this can surface. Now, some of the kind of estate issues that we see sometimes are parents set things up. When I pass away, I'm going to, leave things to a trust for my child. And for every dollar that my child makes as an employee working for someone or working for himself, if he has self-employment income, I'm going to leave it so that his trust will match every dollar that he earns. And it sounds great. You want the child to be productive, and you want to, want the child to go out and get a job or start a business. And if he's making money, you'll add to that. Well, what if your child's a stay-at-home parent, or what if your child does charitable work or missionary work? Then the money just piles up, and no contribution or the grandchild gets no benefit from that, even though they're performing admirable behavior and they're contributing to society. And we've seen one through our office where grandpa said, "I'm going to leave a trust for my little bitty grandchildren, and it's going to be for their education and for their health. But that's the only thing I want it to be used for, just their education and their health. And grandchildren were really young at the time. Grandfather set this up. He wound up passing away. And then lo and behold, there was maybe 7 or 8 grandchildren. One of them, I think, got an athletic scholarship. The others just weren't, college material. And so really the funds were never used for education. And then really all of the grandchildren got jobs that provided those grandchildren with health insurance. So they really didn't need that trust, which held 7-figure type money for the grandchildren's education or their health. And look, lo and behold, the grandchildren now they're getting married, they're starting families, they're struggling, they're going through all those struggles that everybody else goes through when they try to start life and start a family. But that trust is going to be no help because Grandpa tried to reward the right kind of behavior by saying it's only going to be used for education and health. So the problems with these incentive trusts are that, number one, family situations change. Nobody can predict what's going to be going on with their family 20 or 30 years into the future. And then in addition to family situations changing, societal norms changed. I know there have been incentive trusts created in the past that said, if the beneficiary can get contributions from the trust as long as the beneficiary doesn't marry someone who's not the same religion as the beneficiary, or all distributions are off if the beneficiary marries someone of a different race. And so societal norms changed, and so it's hard to anticipate what the societal norms will be 20 or 30 years from now, when distributions have to be considered to be made. So, and then likewise, what if a child, and I hate to do all these what ifs, but this is a situation where what ifs are kind of reasonable. What if a child has an injury or an illness and they can't physically or mentally, they just can't meet your standards that you had created prior to any knowledge that your child had an injury or an illness. So, got to be real careful with these incentive trusts. What's the alternative? The alternative perhaps is by choosing a strong trustee, or some people will set up a committee so that a committee can determine when distributions can be made, and then give the trustee the discretion to do the right thing and make the right kinds of distributions based on the circumstances at the time distributions may need to be made. So instead of the incentive trust and outlining everything that a child can and can't do, grade point average, graduate from what kind of college, accredited college, technical school, high school, 3.0, 3.5, drug testing, W-2, self-employment income, married, not married, are they buying a house or are they not buying a house, how much of a down payment? So instead of putting all those hard and fast rules, what a lot of people do is they pick a strong trustee or co-trustees, and then in the trust instrument, they give the trustee the ability to exercise the discretion to make distributions for a beneficiary, perhaps for the typical standards of health, education, maintenance, and support. And then perhaps in a side letter or some other communication, they share their philosophy of what they're trying to accomplish. In general, what kind of behavior would you like to reward? And you stay away from the hard and fast rules that may not be applicable next year, 10 years from now, or 25 years from now, because you cannot foresee, these eventual situations and consequences. So you set it up where the trustee or co-trustees have that discretion to do the right thing. They can follow your philosophy that you outlined, but not have those hard and fast rules, and then let the trustees do their job of following your wishes as to what you're trying to accomplish based on circumstances at at the time that a distribution is being considered. So, and I guess I'm not a big fan of trying to change one's behavior by creating, external incentives. Like to see, the youngsters out there in their teens, in their 20s, behave a certain way because it's coming from within, rather than trying to get to a result because of a financial, incentive. So for a lot of reasons that I've explained, I think you really should think twice. Quite frankly, I've been doing this for 30 years, and I've never seen one of these incentive trusts just work out perfectly. I've seen some go bad. So based on just my experience, I do think you should think twice before you create one of these incentive trusts with hard and fast rules. Your intent may be very good, but your ability to protect your family's future situations and societal's norms may not be so good. So hope that helps. We've got a couple more to go, but this is the only one that I'm a little wary about. Seems like the more particular people get, the more potential there is for things to go wrong. So be wary of the incentive trust, but not so wary that you just don't put any legal affairs in order and you get paralysis by analysis. Just think twice and about what you're requiring a beneficiary to do in order to be, rewarded in a manner where they are able to, get some type of financial benefit from certain behavior. Okay, I'm Paul Rabelais. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, the notification bell. Would love to see you punch the thumbs up button. Comment below on your thoughts on an incentive trust. And if you did one, what kinds of behavior you'd like to incentivize. Love to see that. I'll read it, may even comment on it. Y'all have a great day.